I'm Heather Cornell, and this is Technique Tuesday, and this is Tony Romano, my collaborator. He's going to be teaching with me in week 4 of the labs. Yesterday we did a Musicality Monday, and we had a discussion about the musical concepts we're going to be working on in week 4 of the labs when we're teaching composition. And we said that we would start to show you some of these things specifically, so we're going to get specific today.
Right, we were talking about repetition last time, and so one of the ways that you can really develop your technique and awareness, a real hyper-awareness of where things are in a measure, we're going to put some sort of, do some exercises based on where you place the eighth note, and so have a measure of constant eighth notes and then take away an eighth note. So all eighth notes, then starting on the end of 1, starting on 2, starting on the end of 2, 3, and so on. And you can also take those away. So there's a bunch of these different exercises. We're just going to demonstrate the one in eighth notes in 4/4.
Yeah, you can do it in any time signature.
So yes,
you can do any note value.
Yes, it could be triplets, it could be 16th notes, it could be combinations. It's just a matter of becoming very aware of and being able to control everything you do. And repetition, as we were talking about on Monday, was the repetition that gives you cohesion through a composition. So these are some exercises you can use in your improvisation especially.
Yeah, and one important thing about this is, Tony and I were talking about this before, one of the strongest tools in music is to reduce the amount that you're doing. So when we're talking about note placement, now we're working on note placement, I don't want you to get busy with your technique because I want you to be really focusing on note placement. So make the technique the simplest that you can make it to start with, and work the exercise for a long time with basic technique so that the music starts to emerge more.
Okay, so for the eighth notes, if we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, take away the first eighth, 1, again, 1, speed 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.
Okay, so let's do this exercise. Right. That's the concept. The concept is we're going to keep taking a note away at the beginning of the phrase.
And we're 2 repetitions with a measure of rest in between.
Exactly. Okay,
so
I'm going to do it on my feet.
Play it?
I'm going to sit because I don't want to get fancy.
Okay.
So I'm just going to do it with heels and toes.
And I'll
You can play on your
some notes.
Snazzy guitar.
Yeah, it's very snazzy. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. End of 2. 3. End of 3. 4. End of 4. Nice.
Go ahead.
You can undo that. You can go the other way. You can add, right? You can start by adding. You can do one note up front on 1 and 1 and 2, or you can go backwards the other way. You can go start at the end of 4, 4 and 4 and 3 and 4 and so on. So one of the most sort of tried and true methods for, say, jazz improvisation playing, like soloists, is we would learn how to play on standards by playing continuous flows of eighth notes so that you can rhythmically stretch out. You can, with no rhythm, stretch out over tune melodically, but it gives you a real sense of where the eighth note grooves all the time. And then once you start inserting rests into it, you start to get phrases. And when you're building compositions, it has to be a balance of repetition, notes and rests, and repetition that gives it some type of idea that you can grab onto and walk away, and immediately you want the listener to immediately be able to sort of spit back what they heard. So, and this happens in all kinds of music. So these exercises are a really good way to be sort of hyper-focused on where you're putting things when you're improvising and then when you're composing, which is, as we said on Monday's class, improvisation slowed down is composition, or composition is improvisation slowed down.
Yeah, so a lot of the way that I teach is in concepts. And so here's a concept that you have. So now you can apply it to any meter, you can apply it to any division of the beat, but it's basically reducing and increasing. And so what I'd like you to do is before Friday, because Friday we're going to give you a challenge, before Friday I'd like you to play around with this as much as you can with the most simple technique, heels and toes, or just heels, or just toes. Play around with your students, play around on your own in the studio, and just start to get a facility of note placement. Okay, so we'll see you tomorrow.